This footage was never supposed to be seen. It was recovered from a device that doesn't officially exist, logged under a case file that was later sealed without explanation. What it captured is the reason an entire school was shut down in less than 48 hours. Not because of what was found inside the building, but because of what was already there long before anyone noticed. This is St. Catherine's Academy, a private boarding school known for discipline, silence, and isolation. It sat far from the city, surrounded on all sides by dense forest that stretched for miles. No nearby houses, no traffic, no noise, just trees, wind, and distance. For years, nothing unusual was ever reported. No incidents, no disappearances, no violence, the kind of place parents trusted because nothing ever happened. Until one week. It didn't begin with panic. And it began quietly, almost insignificantly. A few students mentioned having trouble sleeping. Others complained about discomfort at night. Some said they felt like they were being watched. At first, it was dismissed as stress, adjustment, imagination. But then the reports became consistent, identical even. Different students, different rooms, the same description. Not voices, not footsteps, breathing, soft at first, easy to ignore if you weren't paying attention. But once you noticed it, it became impossible to unhear. Slow, controlled, too steady to belong to someone asleep, too close to belong to someone across the room, and always at the same time. 2:13 a.m., not 2:12, not 2:14, exactly 2:13, every night. At first, staff assumed it was a coincidence, a pattern created by tired minds. But patterns don't repeat perfectly across multiple rooms, across multiple nights, across people who had never spoken to each other. Something was happening, and it was happening with precision. Around the same time, an external report surfaced. A bus driver who had driven the school route for over a decade refused to continue his night schedule. When questioned, he struggled to explain it clearly. He said the road near the academy felt wrong after dark. Not dangerous in a physical sense, but wrong in a way he couldn't justify. He described the trees. He said they moved when there was no wind, not swaying, not rustling, shifting, as if they were adjusting themselves when no one was supposed to notice. One night, while driving past the forest, he became aware of something keeping pace with the bus. Not ahead, not behind, beside it, moving at the exact same speed. He checked the mirrors. Nothing. He slowed down. It slowed down. He sped up. It matched him, and then he heard it. Breathing. Not inside the bus. Outside. Close enough to feel like it was right beside his window. When he finally forced himself to look directly into the darkness, there was nothing there. No shape, no figure, no movement. But the breathing didn't stop. Inside the school, the situation escalated. Dormitory B recorded the highest number of complaints. Students began waking up at the same time every night, often without knowing why. Some said they didn't wake themselves. It felt more like something pulled them out of sleep. Their eyes would open suddenly, their bodies still, their minds immediately aware. And then they would hear it. Breathing in the room, not loud, not aggressive, just present, too present. One student, Megan Brooks, later described the moment it became real for her. She had been lying in bed, half asleep, listening to what she assumed was her roommate. A slow, steady inhale, a soft exhale, normal, harmless, until she noticed something was off. It didn't match. She listened more carefully, counted the rhythm. Then she heard her roommate shift in bed, and the breathing didn't change. That's when she realized there were two, her roommate and something else. She said the second breathing was closer, so close it felt like it was right beside her ear. Close enough that she could feel the warmth of it, even though nothing was there. She turned slowly, expecting to see someone, something, anything. There was nothing, just darkness, and the sound continued. Another student, Sophie Lane, reported an incident that changed how the school viewed the situation. One night, after hearing the breathing again, she and her roommates checked everything. Doors were locked, windows were shut. No one was inside, nothing was out of place, until they looked at the window. The glass had started to fog, not from the inside, from the outside. The condensation spread slowly, unevenly, forming in patches that didn't match the temperature of the room. It looked like someone was standing just beyond the glass, breathing against it. Close, steady, patient. They stared at it, frozen, trying to understand what they were seeing. And then the fog shifted, as if whatever was there had moved, not away, closer. At that point, the school initiated internal investigation procedures. Rooms were checked, logs were reviewed. Students were questioned. Nothing concrete was found, no intruders, no environmental explanation, no evidence that could explain the consistency of the reports. Until a file appeared. No one could trace its origin. It wasn't uploaded through any official system. It didn't belong to any registered device. It simply existed. A video file, time-stamped 2:13 a.m. The footage shows a dorm room. 3 students are visible asleep in their beds. The room is quiet, still, nothing unusual at first glance. The timestamp flickers slightly, as if unstable. 2:13 a.m. Then the corner of the room begins to darken, not like a shadow cast by an object, like the light itself is being removed. The pixels distort. The image breaks in subtle ways. Lines shift, shapes blur, and then slowly something begins to form, not entering the frame, and not walking in, just appearing, piece by piece, as if it was always there but is only now becoming visible. A shape, a body, unclear, undefined. And then something else happens. A bed appears. Where there was empty space before, there is now a 4th bed. It doesn't move into place. It doesn't slide or shift. It simply exists. The figure lies down on it, facing away from the camera. Everything becomes still again. For a moment, nothing happens. Then the footage glitches. A sharp distortion. A break in continuity. And when the image stabilizes, the figure is no longer lying down. It is sitting, facing the camera. The movement is not shown. There is no transition. It was lying down. Now, it is sitting, and it is smiling. Not exaggerated, not unnatural in shape. Just enough. Enough to show awareness. Enough to show intent. Enough to make it clear that it is not part of the room. The video ends abruptly. No file data, no origin, no device ID, nothing. Authorities were contacted. The school was locked down. But what responding officers reported added something even more disturbing to the case. The anomaly wasn't contained. It wasn't limited to the room. Body cam footage from officers searching the surrounding forest described movement between trees that could not be tracked. Not fast, not slow, just inconsistent. appearing in one place, then another without crossing the space in between. More than one source of breathing, not synchronized, not located. One officer stated in a recorded log that it didn't feel like they were searching for something. It felt like something was moving between them, listening, choosing. But the most disturbing discovery came later. Not from the forest, not from the footage, from the records. The official student registry for room 12 listed only 2 names. Megan Brooks, Sophie Lane, no third student, no Emily Carter, no missing person report, no transfer record, no enrollment history, no evidence that Emily Carter had ever existed, except in testimonies, except in the footage. Room 12 was eventually reopened months later under new administration. New students were assigned. The room was inspected, cleared, and restored. 3 beds, 3 occupants, everything normal, until the first night. At exactly 2:13 a.m., all 3 students woke up at the same time, without speaking, without moving, because they all heard it. Breathing. Not theirs, not each other's. And then when they looked toward the corner of the room, something was already there. A 4th bed, positioned where there had been empty space, and sitting on it was a girl, still, watching them, smiling, like she had been waiting, like she knew they would look. One of them tried to speak. She didn't get the chance, because the girl leaned forward slightly and whispered, "You made space for me." If you ever hear breathing in a room that should be silent, don't try to find it. Don't turn toward it. Don't acknowledge it, because once you notice it, it becomes aware of you. And when it does, it doesn't rush. It doesn't force its way in. It doesn't need to. It waits. It studies. It replaces. And when it's done, there won't be a struggle. There won't be evidence. There won't even be a record that you were ever there. Only space and something new breathing in your place.